Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. We are getting closer and closer to Arsenal returning to action on Sunday with that big game at Watford. I mean, every game's big now, isn't it? No such thing as a sort of nothing match at the moment when it comes to Arsenal in this race for the top four, in which they are in pole position, but there is a long way to go. We'll be building up to that game as we go through the week. I'll talk a little bit about it today and some of the injury news going into that game. We now have it confirmed that Mikel Arteta's press conference will be at 1:30 on Friday ahead of that match. So that's when we'll be hearing from the Arsenal boss ahead of the game. Hopefully get the very latest from him in terms of who might be available for that one. Just a quick shout if you haven't seen it yet. I know there's plenty of WWE fans on here, or wrestling fans should I say, obviously not just WWE, AEW and everything else. And I always get comments whenever I mention it down below about my wrestling views. And I've done a piece today. I don't know, I mean, plenty of you who go to the games or even watch around the world, you'd have seen or heard Arsenal playing wrestling music as the players come out for the start of the second half. Been loads of them that have gone viral on social. Triple H's music, Kurt Angle's, Chris Jericho's, Drew McIntyre, just loads of them. Edge's, which is one of my favourite. But anyway, I spoke to the stadium DJ. I've done a piece that's gone on Goal today, just a bit of fun in a bit of a quiet week, talking to the stadium DJ about it, how it's suddenly blown up on social media and everything. So head over to my Twitter if you're interested, or my Facebook, and you'll see the link to the story there, or go over to goal.com. It's on the homepage right now. And I know there's plenty of wrestling fans out there, so go and get your fix. Arsenal and wrestling, what's not to love about it? Right. Enough of wrestling, let's talk about Arsenal. And good news, Emile Smith Rowe is back, he's fit, he's available, and the illness that kept him out of the weekend is no more, which is good to see. Arsenal trained yesterday at the Emirates, something Mikel Arteta likes to do. He likes to sort of shake things up a little bit, so it's not always just the monotonous journey into Colney for the players. He does like to train at the Emirates every so often, and he did that yesterday. All the players heading over there, and Emile Smith Rowe was involved. I'm sure you've seen the pictures by now, which is great news for Arsenal. Absolutely missed him. I thought, Gabby's been brilliant recently, but I think Emile would have played in that game against Wolves had he been available, given his performance against Brentford. I thought Gabby struggled a little bit. Maybe he's getting tired. It just kind of feels like this might be the right time to shake things up a little bit now, and maybe give Gabby a little bit of a rest and bring Emile Smith Rowe back into the side. Lovely option to have. And also, I think whoever doesn't start out of those two, it's a brilliant option to have the other one on the bench for half an hour to go. We've seen Smith Rowe come off the bench and make big impacts over the last couple of months, especially in that run at the end of December when he was coming on and scoring all the times. And you can imagine if Smith Rowe now starts, with half an hour to go, you throw Martinelli into the mix. Teams are going to hate that. It's just a really good option to have. And when you suddenly got hopefully Pepe in form and one of either Martinelli or Martinelli or Smith Rowe to come on, then there's two players there, attacking players who can really potentially change the game if needs be. And we saw the effect that Nicolas Pepe had when he came on. He certainly changed that game against Wolves with that fantastic cameo, scoring the equaliser and playing a part in the winner as well. So hopefully that will really strengthen Arsenal's attempt for a top four spot, and certainly good news about Emile Smith Rowe, because someone was asking me the other day, who's your player of the season so far? If you had to vote right now for Arsenal player of the season, who would it be? And I was thinking about it, and I kept coming back to either Emile. I just think Emile's been brilliant. He's obviously top scorer at the moment. I think he's been great. Aaron Ramsdale, just what he's done, the difference he's made, the impact he's had behind the scenes, everything about Ramsdale has just been brilliant since he's come into Arsenal. And then I was thinking of one other option. Saka's always there or thereabouts, but I'm not sure about. I wouldn't have Saka in the top three. I'd have Emile Smith Rowe, Aaron Ramsdale, and Gabriel, I think. Ben White, very, very close. It's hard to choose between the two, as Ben White and Gabriel, because I think they've both been brilliant. But I think I'd probably just edge towards Gabriel over Ben White for the top three at the moment. Please let me know what you guys think about who's been player of the season so far. If you had to vote right now at the end of this video, you had all of the players available to select, who would you go for? Who's your Arsenal player of the season right now? Let me know, as always, in the comments below. So while there's good news about Emile Smith Rowe, not quite so good news about Tomiyasu. He's not involved in training yet. We saw that again. Our whispers looking at sort of another couple of weeks with Tomiyasu. We should find out a little bit more when Arsenal potentially release a team news update ahead against the game against Watford at the weekend. If they don't release that update, then we'll find out a little bit more from Mikel on Friday when he faces the press. But frustrating one for Tomiyasu. Just got back from that injury, with that calf injury. Looked like he was going to start the game against Wolves. Everyone was expecting him to. He'd been on the bench against Brentford. He'd been training, and then suddenly picked up another calf injury, but on the other calf. And that is a worry. And it's a troublesome injury as well, a calf injury. It's one that you've got to really make sure it is better before you come back. You don't want to aggravate it. And it's frustrating. But fair play, I've said it before. Cedric's done very, very well in Tomiyasu's absence. But as this season sort of progresses and Arsenal start approaching those games they're going to have coming up against Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, you want Tomiyasu available, I would say, for those games. So not so good news on Tomiyasu, although there is certainly good news on Emile Smith Rowe. Just away from Arsenal, I mean, this obviously impacts Arsenal massively. The awful events of Ukraine, with the war that Russia have started over there, it's going to have a big impact by the looks of it in English football and London football when it comes to Roman Abramovich and Chelsea. I mean, Abramovich's era has been going on for nearly 2 decades now at Chelsea, but it looks like it is coming to a relatively swift end amid the Russian war in Ukraine. Sanctions are coming on Roman Abramovich over here in the UK, and from what my Chelsea colleague Nizar Kinsella, who's a Chelsea correspondent at Goal, has been reporting, is that now everyone at Stamford Bridge and the West London club expect Chelsea to be sold and Roman Abramovich to leave the UK economy entirely before these sanctions come in. There are talks at the moment going on. Looks like a bank has been appointed to handle the sale. And Roman Abramovich appears that he is on his way out at Chelsea. Like I said, head over to Twitter and search for Nizar Kinsella. He's our Chelsea correspondent at Goal. He's got his finger right on the pulse of this. It's a massive story over here. Abramovich has come in. No club has won more trophies in England than Chelsea since Abramovich arrived. He's changed the face of English football with what he's done and how he's bankrolled the club. There, Chelsea were about to go bust before he arrived, and look at what they've done since. So, it's a huge story that is going to make a big impact in English football potentially over the next few days, because it seems like things are really progressing quickly, and Abramovich is trying to get out, not just of Chelsea, but out of the UK economy as quickly as possible before these sanctions come in. I think the sale looks like he wants around sort of 3 billion perhaps for Chelsea. I mean, I think they owe him 1.5 billion. Whether he calls that in, I doubt it. I think whoever buys the club will have to take that debt on potentially. There's a Swiss billionaire, I forget his name, I saw in the reports today talking that he's been invited to bid for the club. Whether that ends up being successful, I don't know. It's just big news over here, and it's going to definitely have a big impact when it comes to the Premier League and certainly Arsenal as well. But I mean, in terms of my thoughts on it all, I just want to express my sympathy for everyone in Ukraine who is suffering what they are suffering right now. Totally unjust in my view, and I just hope everyone can stay as safe as possible and we can come through this, and the idiot leaders that we have around the world can sort themselves out and get rid of their egos and just let people live a safe life and not try and invade peaceful countries that absolutely don't deserve it, democratic countries that don't deserve it. So I mean, that's the big news coming out of English football at the moment, and it's certainly going to have a big impact in terms of the Premier League and Arsenal with what happens with Chelsea. But again, as I said, first and foremost, if you're watching this from Ukraine or you're watching it and you're Ukrainian anywhere around the world, then my thoughts are with you and your family, and I hope everyone can be as safe as possible over the coming weeks. Back to Arsenal, Matteo Guendouzi. I mean, this isn't a secret, is it? I mean, I reported back at the time when he first joined Marseille that there was an obligation to turn that move permanent, at the end of the season. It's been confirmed by the Marseille president. Pablo Longoria was talking on our RMC Sports show, I think yesterday, and he confirmed that that's a move that will be turned permanent at the end of the season. Guendouzi will get a contract until 2025. At the time I reported it, was Arsenal got a loan fee of around $1 million initially, and they'll get another about $9 million for when the move turns permanent. Is that enough money for Guendouzi, who's now turned himself into a fully fledged French international since his time at Marseille? Probably not. Well, in fact, it's not. No doubt about it. But he'll only have a year left on his contract at the end of the summer, at the end of the season, and it's just a move that Arsenal have done. I mean, at least they're actually getting some money, not paying a player to leave, which is good. And yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own thoughts on Guendouzi. I mean, it was just another one. It's along the same lines as Aubameyang. It just had to happen. He wasn't going to play for Arsenal again. That was clear, and that's going to affect his price. That's also clear. And Arsenal have now done this deal. Well, they did it in the summer, and it's been confirmed now. I mean, I think Guendouzi was actually talking. I think I took a quote down. He was talking as part of that RMC Sports show. He said it's a well-considered choice. There were very good discussions with the president, the coach, people in my family. Marseille is the best choice I've made, and I've done it for many years. It started a little before the transfer window. Today, I'm very happy and fulfilled here, and he's playing well. He's had a good season for Marseille, scoring a few goals as well. Actually, surprisingly for him, playing plenty of games, and hopefully Guendouzi goes on as a decent career. I'm sure he will, because he's a very, very talented player. It just didn't work out with Arsenal and him and Arteta. Clearly a big clash of personalities there. We all know about Arteta's non-negotiables, and Guendouzi didn't manage to adhere to them. I know everyone looks at it and thinks, he got banished because of what happened in that game against Brighton. He didn't get banished for what happened in that game against Brighton. Absolutely not. He got banished for a few flare-ups with Arteta, one in Dubai, one massive stroppy through in training in that Dubai training camp that got pretty nasty, and then what happened after Brighton when he was in for disciplinary talks, refused to apologise again. It just rumbled on, and the relationship broke down. So had to happen, but that's the latest when it comes to Matteo Guendouzi. Again, what do you think of that? Should Arsenal have stuck it out with Guendouzi? I mean, personally for me, when it comes to him, I just don't see it. He's not going to start. He's not going to start ahead of Xhaka. He's not going to start ahead of Thomas Partey. Maybe he could have sort of hung around for a couple of years and waited for one of those two to go. But I still think for me, Arsenal need more than Matteo Guendouzi if they want to step up and go up to another level. I think, as I've said before, I think they certainly need an improvement on Granit Xhaka. But I'm not sure if you take Xhaka out the team, I wouldn't personally think that if you put Guendouzi in there next to Partey that suddenly Arsenal transform to another level. I think they can get better than that. I think they need better than that. And I think they probably will get better than that when it comes to the summer transfer window as well. So I think best for all parties that we just move on from that one. And good luck to Matteo. That's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, appreciate your time. Anything you agree with, disagree with, let me know. Drop your comments below. I always enjoy going through those. Have a very good day. Like I said, Mikel Arteta's press conference coming up now. That will be on Friday. I will do a video tomorrow ahead of that, so keep your eyes peeled. And like I said at the start, if you're a big WWE or wrestling fan and you want to know exactly why Arsenal do play this wrestling music every single home game at the start of the second half, get over to my socials right now. Click on the link because I've got an interview with the man who does it. Have a good day, everyone. Speak to you soon.